Have you ever faced a challenge that seemed completely impossible? A wall so high you couldn't see any way to get over it? Well, today we're diving into a story about a wall like that. A real one, and how it came tumbling down in the most unexpected way. This is the story of the Fall of Jericho. Picture this. The Israelites, led by Joshua, finally arrive at the Promised Land, but right in their path stands the city of Jericho. This wasn't just any city. It was a fortress with massive, thick walls that seemed impenetrable. From a human perspective, taking Jericho looked like a suicide mission. There was no obvious military strategy that could work against such a heavily fortified city. But Joshua wasn't relying on human strategy. He was listening to God. And God gave him a set of instructions that must have sounded absolutely crazy. Forget battering rams and catapults. God's plan was a parade. He told Joshua to have the entire army march around the city once a day for 6 days straight. The priests were to blow their trumpets, but everyone else had to remain completely silent. Can you imagine the discipline that took marching in silence while your enemies watch from the walls, probably laughing at you? For 6 days, they did exactly as commanded. March, trumpets, silence. They walked in faith, trusting a plan that made no logical sense. Then came the 7th day. On this day, the instructions changed. They were to march around the city, not once, but 7 times. After the 7th lap, when the priests blew a long blast on their trumpets, the entire nation of Israel was to let out a massive, earth-shaking shout. So, they marched. 1 lap, 2, 3, all the way to 7. The tension must have been incredible. Then, the trumpets sounded their final, long blast. And at that exact moment, every man, woman, and child lifted their voice and shouted as one. They weren't fighting with swords or spears. Their weapon was obedience. Their strategy was faith. And in that instant, a miracle happened. The Bible says the walls of Jericho just collapsed. They fell flat. The impossible barrier that stood in their way was gone, reduced to rubble. The Israelites could then walk straight into the city and claim the victory God had promised them. The story of Jericho is so much more than an ancient battle. It's a powerful lesson for our own lives. It teaches us that some of the biggest walls we face are meant to be broken down by our own strength, our own cleverness, or our own resources. They are meant to be surrendered to God. His methods might seem strange. When we choose to obey him, even when we don't understand, he can make the impossible possible. So, what's your Jericho? What wall is standing in your way today? Remember this story. Trust in God's plan, follow his lead with faithful obedience, and watch as he brings down the walls in your life. Thanks so much for watching! If this story encouraged you, please give this video a like and subscribe for more content that builds your faith. See you next time!